Hello everybody. Today we're going to do a reading for you on the topic of how do I go to Barbados? And those of you who are familiar with Neville Goddard knows that he had a mentor and teacher called Abdullah, who, when faced with the query of how Neville Goddard could get to Barbados, he responded, "You are in Barbados." So we've got 3 decks here. Each of them holds a manifestation secret to how you can be in Barbados now, aka how you can manifest whatever identity or reality that you are choosing and preferring. Please pick 1, 2, or 3, and that deck will correspond to your answer. Welcome to Sia's channel, Heal Love Now. And I'll give you a few minutes to pick your deck, and then we'll get started. Okay, so those of you who have chosen deck 1, take off this lovely crystal, get started. I'm shuffling the deck, focusing on your energy, asking for the highest wisdom to come through for those of you who have chosen this pile of cards with the question, how do I go to Barbados? How do I be in Barbados? What do I need to clear within myself to get to Barbados in the now? So let's see what we have. For those out there who are with me in this quest, first we have grounded, then we have stormy, and then we have divinity. So if this isn't already self-explanatory, I'm going to go into it in more depth, but I know you all can see what's unfolding here. So first of all, the way that you can begin to be in Barbados is you need to get on the ship. You need to lift anchor and begin your journey. So what this is saying is that you are already quite versed in the law of attraction and law of assumption. And in Neville Goddard's teaching, you actually have the spirit of the wish fulfilled percolating around you. However, there is something that's tying you down and preventing you from taking that leap that would allow you to be in Barbados. So it's interesting that in the tale of Abdullah and Neville Goddard, there was a ship involved, and Neville Goddard had to manifest the assumed reality of being in Barbados so that he could then create an opportunity to take the last ship sailing that year from New York to the Caribbean islands. And that he did. And this too you shall do as soon as you lift anchor. I'm getting the sense that you're already on your way to your manifestation. You're already there, 99.9%. But there's one crucial factor holding you back. And I think what that is your attention to the 3D is too strong. You need to let your mind go afloat and rise above appearances. You need to stop looking down, or in other words, stop looking at the three-dimensional world and what it's suggesting, and look up. Look up and see that the field is already ripe with harvest. And what that means is your ship has already come in and you've already got your ticket. You just need to get off the ground and board. So that is a very wonderful card for you, because it is showing that you are so close. And your next step, okay, look at this. We've got another ship. This is so amazing. So this suggests that you've got some fear as well. The trip to Barbados, or the journey to your manifestation, is being blocked by your fear that is deep in your emotional body and your subconscious. You have a metaphoric fear of stormy seas. So it's like you want to go to Barbados, you're totally in the place in your mind's eye. You've already got your ticket, your ship is coming in, but you're afraid to board because you've got fear-based limiting beliefs about the trip. Like, what if I get on the Titanic kind of thing? And don't feel bad, don't worry that you have this fear. This fear is here to help you. It's here to clear out any last remaining doubts and any density that's still in your field that could affect your full enjoyment of your trip to Barbados, of your manifestation. So it wants to clear it out now. And I'm here to tell you that as Christ told his disciples on the boat that night, when they encountered very rough seas, and Christ was sleeping, and he awoke to his disciples fretting and fearing the turbulence. And he looked at them and said, "O ye of little faith, peace be still." So this is what is being told to you right now. Peace be still. Don't worry. All is well. Nothing can harm you. There is nothing out there but God. And as you realize that reality and that truth, the storm subsides. There was never a storm, and there was never going to be a storm. It's all illusory in the ego mind that thinks that there are opposites, that there's good and evil, that there's problems that need to constantly be solved. This trip can actually be problem-free if you allow it. And once you embrace that knowing, you're going to be on that ship in Barbados, and your manifestation is underway. So you've got a really clear path here. And I'm so excited for you because it's just so beautiful that you're fully in line to embrace this trip, this journey, this manifestation to your new identity, your new timeline. And it has within it a seed of a true stellar experience. That means you are on the way to stardom. You are about to be a star. And your manifestation is going to show forth the divinity within you. The work that you have been doing, the study and the practice of the laws of attraction are coming to full fruition in this manifestation that you are about to see unfold three-dimensionally, that is already existing within your mind's eye, within your imagination, within your God self. So it's going to be beautiful. And the numbers here are suggesting that it's going to be very soon, because what we're getting here is 20, 21, and 22. And the 22nd is coming up really soon. And so I'm feeling like you're 3 days away from your manifestation. And this could be symbolic or very literal, because Neville Goddard talks about that essentially it only takes 3 days for us to manifest our assumption into 3D reality when we are fully committed and fully dedicated with our visualization, with our total assumption, and with our letting go of attachment and focus on the material realm. So he has that 3-day philosophy. So it suggests that 3 days and you have your manifestation on the 22nd, or that you are just in line with Neville Goddard's philosophy in a metaphoric way, so that even if it's not 3 days, you are on the perfect path and it will manifest in the perfect time. So yeah, that's awesome, and I congratulate you. Celebrate now, because your being in Barbados is imminent. All right. So if you need more clarification, just send me a note or click the link in the description box. All right, for those of you who chose number 2, here we are. And we've got this crystal deck, which we're going to supplement with cards from a few other decks, because this lovely deck with this lapis lazuli crystal has literal crystals on it. And we're going to see what comes up, shuffling, focusing on your highest energy, those of you who chose this pile. And then when we need more clarity, we have the freedom to pull from some other decks. Okay, so let's see about your being in Barbados. What is blocking you from this manifestation, and what do you need to know in order to clear it and be on your way to your dream identity and timeline? Okay, those of you who chose number 2. So first and foremost, lapis lazuli comes up. So that's very interesting, because lapis lazuli was on top of the deck. So I'm getting that this crystal and its qualities are very, very integral to what you need to know right now to manifest your Barbados journey. And then we have honey calcite. And finally, epidote. All right. So let's kind of get a sense of what these cards are talking about. I'm going to pull a few more cards to clarify what this lapis lazuli popping up first and foremost is telling us about. For those of you who chose this pile and who are going to Barbados. All right, so let's see what it's telling us here. I see isolation, strength, and anxiety. Okay, so what it's saying right off the bat is that you, first of all, need to stop telling people about what you want to do. You need to keep it to yourself, because talking to other people about it and sharing your dream and your vision with others dissipates the energy and also causes you to take on their anxiety, which completely takes you out of Barbados. So similar to what happened with Neville Goddard, when he practiced being in Barbados whilst he was in New York, when he pretended that he was there, it was fine at night in his bed. But when he came out into the daylight and looked around the streets of New York, he realized, wait a minute, I'm not in Barbados. This looks nothing like Barbados. And so the doubts came in dealing with the so-called 3D external world. And when he went to Neville to say, wait a minute, you told me that I'm in Barbados, but I don't feel like I'm in Barbados. It doesn't look like it. It was great when I was sleeping, but the world of New York is not the world of Barbados. And Neville Goddard was expecting to get some kind of feedback, encouragement, some sense of hope. However, Abdullah, the master teacher that he was, slammed the door on Neville Goddard. So what this is telling me is that you need to slam the door on other people's opinions. You need to go into your hermit mode in order to make this manifestation real for you. In your mind, it needs to become personal and real for you. Telling other people isn't going to do that. It doesn't matter if it's real for them. It needs to be real for you. And when it manifests in the 3D, obviously it will be real for them too. But right now, that's not your concern. And so it's important that you assume your desired reality without the help of the external opinion. And the lapis lazuli card talks about ascending to your rightful throne. So in ancient Egypt, the deep blue lapis lazuli stone was revered as a royal symbol, and it was worn by the pharaohs and great leaders. It was actually used as an eyeshadow for King Tutankhamun. So what you are needing to wear right now, quietly and in your own secret, sacred room, is the countenance of royalty. You need to be in Barbados in your own consciousness and fully embrace that reality, because it's a journey for you. It's something that you need to grow into and fully embody in order for it to express. And so it furthermore, lapis lazuli talks about people who have Leo energy, who have strong feline cat affiliations, and who like to be by themselves a lot, who need to be by themselves a lot in order to cultivate their state of being. And it feels like as you go into your own, again, it says, as a spiritual armor that lets the world know when I walk into a room, it's customary for y'all to bend the knee. So this is what's happening. You are coming up against resistance from your environment, because no one is going to want to worship you if you're saying, worship me. They can't see it like you can. It's like cats. They are very aloof, and that's why they're chased after. So you have to take that aloof attitude, and you have to be almost remote right now in order to get into the Barbados mode and go where you need to go, within, spiritually, vibrationally, energetically. And it says also here, when your thoughts are not your friends, call on lapis lazuli to help get you out of whatever your mind has gotten you into. So, furthermore, you are surrounded by negative thoughts and negative people who you need to almost like put your evil eye shadow on your blue dot in the middle of your forehead that says, don't bother me right now. Stay out of my atmosphere. You're messing up my frequency. I'm not saying you should say that to anybody, but that's the attitude you should take of removing yourself from all the influences that keep you feeling anything less than royal. And so now we're getting the honey calcite with the strength card. And this is an energy of fire. It's coming from both of these cards. And it's talking about the need for you to gain your strength as you go into the silence. Gain your courage, gain your integrity and commitment and dedication to this manifestation, knowing that it's yours, fully embracing it, giving yourself all the pep talk, doing the scripting where you visualize yourself in the manifestation. You talk to people in your mind, not in real life, as if the manifestation has already occurred. So instead of lamenting that no one is talking to you like you're royal and no one is believing in you on the outer, go within and talk to these people in your mind's eye as if your manifestation has occurred. Do little scripts where you say, oh, hi, I haven't seen you in a while. And they say, what's going on with you? And you say, well, I'm in Barbados. You get my drift? Because at that time in your mind is true. And this will help you to accumulate the necessary strength of mind to propel yourself to your manifestation. And this is talking about the need to power through barriers that block your abundance. And feeling like you're always having to wait your turn and wait until tomorrow for something that you want now. The calcite helps to bring into manifestation what you deserve in this very moment. And with your mindset on your royal heritage and lineage, you will raise your vibration to sync with these greater, more abundant creations. And it's saying, picture yourself triumphant on the other side of whatever stands in your way, and call on honey calcite to kick in the door. So this is very interesting, because with Neville Goddard and Abdullah, when they were having a conversation about Neville's doubts that he was actually in Barbados, because he was physically in New York, but the law of assumption commanded that he is in Barbados. So he wanted to go back and forth with Abdullah about what's true. And Abdullah just said, listen, you're in Barbados. And he went in his room and shut the door. So this is telling you that a part of your own naysayer self is trying to kick in the door and further argue with Abdullah about whether or not you're in Barbados. That is contrary to the law of assumption. If you are in Barbados, you're not going to talk to somebody about how to get to Barbados because you're already there. So do not look at the appearances or the 3D and try and force them to meet your doubts, or force them to justify or clarify your doubts. Turn away from them and see yourself on the other side of that block or barrier. See yourself on the other side of the door as Abdullah, who doesn't have any concern for doubts. He knows Neville is in Barbados, and that's all he needs to know. That's the same with you. Know that you have your manifestation. Your abundance is real. You're royal, and that's that. Okay, so moving on, we have a similar color pattern, and that seems to be going through the reading. We have blue, orange, and now green. And colors are very significant as well in these kinds of visual readings. Blue tends to mean your emotional sadness and sense of loneliness. And the orange is coming out with a passion, a fire to break through these dense emotions. And the green is symbolizing a achievement of a reward, like you finally got through the anxiety and the fear that was creating these blockages. Because if you experience objections from your external world, it's because you're feeling them within. So it's telling you to, with epidote, it's an earthy green mineral, and it's all about getting what you give. So basically what that's saying is you need to realize that you create your own life and everybody in it. What you give off is what you're going to get back. So don't blame these other people and other circumstances. Don't judge them. Look within and find out, okay, what do I need to do to be my best self? how do I get to rise to the occasion and embrace my true identity so that no one can miss it, so that everyone sees it without trying to force it, but just let it happen naturally because I am being that new person. Yeah, so it's talking about vibes. The vibe that you give off is very important for this being in Barbados. You can't be in Barbados if you're wearing like winter clothes and you're not tanned and you're like cold. It's not, you've got to live like you're in Barbados. You've got to do what needs to be done. Fake it till you make it. Pretend like kids do when they build a fort in the living room and pretend like they're out camping. That's what you're going to have to do to create the vibes to bring yourself in alignment with your manifestation. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this one up. And I thank you, those who chose Pile 2. If you need more clarity, reach out to me in the comments or description box link. And I will see you later. Alrighty, so moving on to those who chose Pile 3 with this huge amethyst, beautiful crystal on it. Wow. And we're going to shuffle, focusing on the energy of those who chose this pile, asking for the highest wisdom to come through. What do these folks need in order to be in Barbados? What's blocking them from their manifestation? And how can they fully achieve and assume who they prefer to be right now? All right, asking for the highest wisdom. Let's see what comes up here. Okie dokie. So we've got double mission. We've got I remember and jump in. So what this is saying is that you have a huge task ahead of you, because this is a monumental change and modification of your identity. You're becoming a totally new you based on how you've been for so long. However, this is actually your twin self. This is actually who you really are, who you are meant to be. And the person that you've been manifesting all this time is an illusion. Like, that was never you. So it's about waking up to who you really are and realizing that you have always been her. And your manifestation, your being in Barbados, is like not just about you. It's very, very transformative for a lot of other people, if that makes any sense. It's a world-changing move or shift when you start to be who you really are. So it's like it's saying double mission, which suggests that you may think this is something you need to manifest for your individual life, but you have a calling, a larger calling for the entire world. And as you go to Barbados, you will discover all these other things clicking into shape. It's like if you make this one quantum leap, you're going to be jumping through all kinds of timelines that have been poised, waiting for you to wake up. And Okay, so this is I remember. So it suggests that you know this. You remember who you are. And this is an important technique in the law of assumption teachings, is that when you are manifesting something and you are seeing yourself in Barbados and you know you've got the thing and you're feeling all the feelings of it, experiencing the vibes, the energy, everything. One way to expedite it is to, every time you encounter the 3D that suggests that you are not this new identity that you've claimed, or suggests that no, you're not in Barbados, you're in New York City. Every time that presents itself, the illusion of the world, you're meant to recall your visualization or your scripting or whatever exercise that you did to picture yourself in Barbados and know that you are already there. You're meant to recall it as a memory. So it's not just where you're thinking, oh, I see myself on the beach and I'm having such a great time with my fresh coconut water. I'm just relaxing under the palm trees and smelling the conch fritters frying on the open grill. It's not just a visualization of the present moment where you're in Barbados. It is when you're out in the world and you're walking around New York City, you remember when you see the snow and you see all the cold people with coats and no one's in a swimsuit telling you, hey, you're not in Barbados. You look at that and you say, I remember getting on the ship that took me on this lovely ride and waking up a week or so later and finding myself in Barbados and remembering that as if you already have that as your past. This is a powerful technique to grounding the reality that you're visualizing into your present moment feeling, to counter any feelings that suggest otherwise, any feelings that are contradictory to your being in your manifestation. That is how you have to do it. You have to go. Okay, sorry, my phone got disconnected. So you have to go into your memory and replay the scripting and visualization that you already created in order to put yourself in your manifestation. So you see how she's looking into the water and she's seeing her past. She's seeing her reality. In order to solidify this fluid dream, aim, goal of being in Barbados, you have to relegate it to a memory, and your mind starts to fully wrap itself around the reality of it, because it becomes, from a time perspective, something that has already happened. You have already traveled to Barbados. You have already brought all your luggage. You've already checked into the hotel. And so even though all around at the current 3D, it looks like New York, your imagination knows that you already traveled to Barbados, and so you are still in Barbados. And then furthermore, jump in. This is saying you have to fully claim and command that you are there. You have to go all in to this experience of being this new you, this upgraded version of you, this eternal you that is your true self that's been clouded by a false identity. You have to jump into it. So what this is saying is create a method acting sort of approach where you become her. You start acting like her. You start having her memories. You do not give credence to the 3D presentation, and you fully immerse yourself in this reality where, look how she's jumping into this eye. So this is your third eye. This is where you're conceiving your manifestation. You're conceiving your present perfect Bayesian holiday. And with your full identity, you're jumping into that third eye visualization and making it your reality. You're not accepting any doubts, any illusions that suggest otherwise. You turn away from completely by remembering that you've already gone there, you've already taken the trip, you're already checked into your hotel, and so you're fully there, and start to act like her. Start to fully be that person. Do what she does, say what she says, move like she moves, everything completely, fully quantum jumped. You have immersed into that energy, and so there's no possibility of anything but its full manifestation. So this is so wonderful, and I'm really, really proud of you, because I see how you already know that there's a person that is rebirthing itself through you, and it's her time, and she's fully available to be implemented and orchestrated as the new you. And it's going to change countless others and affect the world on a large scale. So you get ready, because you're in for a true adventure, a wild, beautiful ride. All right. So that's those of you who chose pile 3. And I thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Peace.